A billionaire CEO invited the cleaning girl from his own building to his exclusive charity gala, not out of kindness, but to humiliate her in front of 300 of the most powerful people in the city. He bet $50,000 with his friends that she wouldn't even show up. But at 8 p.m. sharp, the ballroom doors opened, and every single conversation died. She walked in wearing a flowing emerald gown, her head held high. The CEO laughed, raised his glass, and ordered the band to play the hardest tango of the night. "Let's see her dance her way out of this one," he sneered. Then, a silver-haired man at the head table stood up so fast his chair crashed to the marble floor. He was the most famous choreographer in the world, the man every dancer alive would sell their soul to train with. He walked across the ballroom, extended his hand to the cleaning girl, and said 4 words that changed her life forever. "It's you. I found you." Before we go any further, if stories about karma, hidden talent, and arrogant people getting exactly what they deserve hit different for you, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the bell, because we post stories like this every single day. And in the comments below, type the word dance. If you believe that one moment can change a person's entire life, just one word, dance. Let's see how many of you are still believers. Now, let's go back to where it all began. Sofia Vasquez had been awake since 4 in the morning. She always was. At 26 years old, she had 2 jobs, a tiny studio apartment with a leaking radiator, and exactly $11,400 in a savings account she refused to touch. Not for groceries, not for the cracked screen on her phone, not even for the winter coat she desperately needed. That money had one purpose, and one purpose only, and she would rather freeze than spend a single cent of it on herself. She slipped on her uniform in the dark, gray polo shirt, black pants, black sneakers. The name tag that said S. Vasquez, cleaning staff. She tied her chestnut hair into a low bun, grabbed her thermos of black coffee, and walked the 11 blocks to Hartwell Tower in the freezing November wind. She loved this part of the morning. The city was still asleep. The streets belonged to her. By 5 o'clock, she was inside the building, 42 floors of glass and marble that housed Hartwell Industries, one of the biggest investment firms on the East Coast. She nodded to the night security guard, Mr. Patterson, who always saved her a warm muffin from the cafeteria. She rode the service elevator down to the basement, grabbed her cart, and started her shift on the ground floor. But before she touched a single mop, she did what she always did. She walked to the center of the empty marble lobby, set down her cart, slipped off her sneakers, and tucked her earbuds into her ears. And then Sofia Vasquez danced. The lobby was enormous. Italian marble floors polished to a mirror finish, a grand staircase curving up to the mezzanine, 20-foot windows looking out over the sleeping city, and every single morning, for exactly 8 minutes, that lobby belonged to her, and she filled it with everything her body had been holding in since the day before. Her arms cut through the air like wings. Her feet barely seemed to touch the floor. She spun, she leapt, she folded into impossible shapes, and then rose again, soft as breath. The music in her ears was a piano piece her mother used to play, the same one she had been dancing to since she was 4 years old, holding her mother's hand in the cramped living room of their old apartment in Queens. Her mother, Elena Vasquez, the most beautiful dancer Sofia had ever seen, the woman who had given up everything. "Don't ever stop dancing, mija," her mother used to whisper. "Promise me, even when the world tells you to, even when you're tired, even when you're alone. You promise me?" Sofia had promised. That was 22 years ago. Her mother had been gone for 19 of them. She spun one last time, slow and graceful, and came to a stop in the exact center of the lobby, her chest rising and falling, her eyes closed, a single tear sliding down her cheek that she didn't even notice. She didn't know it yet, but somewhere on the 28th floor, in a private office with a wall of security, monitors, a man was watching her. He had been watching her for 6 months, and he wasn't the only one, because on the 42nd floor, in the corner office that overlooked the entire city, another man was watching the same screen, his arms folded, his jaw tight, his eyes burning with something that wasn't admiration. It was rage. Daniel Hartwell hated her, and tonight he was finally going to do something about it. Daniel Hartwell stabbed the intercom button on his desk so hard the plastic cracked. "Get in here. Now." 12 seconds later, his assistant Rebecca pushed through the door, tablet pressed against her chest, eyes wide. She had worked for Daniel for 4 years. She knew that voice. That voice meant someone was about to lose their job. "Sir?" He didn't turn around. He was still staring at the security monitor on his desk, the one showing the empty marble lobby where, 3 minutes earlier, a cleaning girl had been dancing like she owned the building. "The gala," he said quietly. "Saturday night. The guest list. Yes, sir. 312 confirmed RSVPs. The mayor, Senator Brennan, the board, the foundation donors." "Did you," he said, finally turning to face her, "send an invitation to a member of the cleaning staff?" Rebecca's face went pale. She had. She knew she had. 2 weeks ago, when the printer spat out the address labels, she had accidentally pulled Sophia Vasquez's employee file instead of Sophia Vance, the wife of the Vance Holdings CEO. By the time she noticed, the invitation was already in the mail. She had been praying for 14 days that the cleaning girl would simply throw it out. "Sir, I am so sorry. It was a clerical—" "Has she responded?" Rebecca swallowed. "Yes, sir. She RSVP'd, yes, yesterday." Daniel was silent for a long moment. Then he smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Perfect," he said. Rebecca blinked. "Sir? Don't correct it. Don't withdraw the invitation. Don't say a word." He walked back to his desk and sat down slowly. "In fact, I want you to seat her at table 42. "Table 42? Sir, that's the staff overflow table. That's where we put the catering supervisors and the—" "I know exactly what table 42 is, Rebecca." His voice was soft, dangerous. "I want her there, at the back, near the kitchen, where everyone can see her, but no one has to speak to her." He picked up his phone and started typing. "And one more thing. Send a memo to the band. I want the second set to open with La Comparsita, the full version, the hard one." Rebecca felt her stomach turn. La Comparsita, the most demanding Argentine tango in the classical repertoire. The kind of piece that professional dancers spent years preparing. "Sir, may I ask why?" "You may not." He looked up. Dismissed. She left. Quietly, quickly. And the moment the door clicked shut behind her, Daniel Hartwell laughed, a low, satisfied laugh, and pulled out his phone to text his 2 oldest college friends. 50 grand each. "The cleaning girl from the lobby is coming to the gala Saturday. She won't last 20 minutes. 3 floors down, in a smaller, quieter office, Adrian Hartwell saw the same lobby footage on his own monitor. But Adrian wasn't smiling. Adrian, 28 years old, the younger brother nobody talked about, the one who ran the family foundation that Daniel privately called the charity nonsense. Adrian was sitting perfectly still, watching Sophia spin one last time on the marble floor. He had watched her every morning for 6 months. He had never said a word. He had never approached her, never sent flowers, never used his name or his money or his position to introduce himself. Because he had seen what happened to women when men like his brother decided they were interesting, and he refused. Refused to be that man. But tonight, Adrian had just received the same gala memo Rebecca sent out, and he had seen exactly which table Sofia Vasquez was assigned to. He stood up slowly, walked to the window, looked down at the city, and for the first time in 6 months, Adrian Hartwell whispered out loud, "What is he planning?" Saturday night, 7:58 p.m., the grand ballroom of the Whitmore Hotel glittered like a jewelry box. 312 guests in tuxedos and gowns, 12 crystal chandeliers, a live 40-piece orchestra warming up on the raised platform. And at table 1, raising his champagne glass to his 2 college friends, sat Daniel Hartwell, relaxed, smug, already counting his $100,000. "She's not coming," his friend Marcus laughed. "Easiest money I've ever made." Daniel just smiled and checked his watch. 7:59, then the great oak doors at the end of the ballroom swung open, and the world stopped. She walked in alone. Sofia Vasquez, 26 years old, in a flowing emerald green gown that her elderly neighbor Mrs. Caldwell, a retired opera singer, had pulled from a cedar chest that morning, weeping as she zipped it up. The dress had been made in Milan in 1978. It fit Sofia like it had been waiting for her. Her chestnut hair was pinned up the way her mother used to wear hers, a single pair of small pearl earrings, the only thing of Elena's she still had. No makeup except a stroke of red on her lips. She did not look like a cleaning girl. She looked like she had walked out of a painting. The room fell silent. Forks froze halfway to mouths. A senator's wife dropped her champagne flute. The orchestra conductor turned to see what everyone was staring at. Daniel's smile cracked. Just slightly. "Just at the corner. Find her," he hissed at the host. "Get her to table 42. Now." The host scurried over. Sofia followed him quietly through the room, past the gasps and the whispers, all the way to the very back, to a small round table near the kitchen door, where 2 confused catering supervisors stood up to make room. She thanked them softly and sat down. Daniel watched her from across the ballroom and waited. He waited through the first course, through the senator's opening speech, through the mayor's toast, through the foundation's video presentation. And then, exactly as planned, he leaned over to the orchestra conductor during the intermission and whispered 6 words. The conductor's face went white, but he nodded. The lights dimmed. A single spotlight hit the center of the dance floor. Daniel stood up, microphone in hand, grinning at the room. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said warmly, "we have a very special guest tonight, a member of our own Hartwell family, from the cleaning department." Polite, confused laughter. "Miss Sofia Vasquez. Sofia, would you do us the honor of opening the second half of the evening?" With a dance, every head in the room turned to table 42. Sofia sat perfectly still for 1 heartbeat. Then she stood up. She walked, slowly, calmly, all the way across the ballroom, 312 people watching, and stepped into the center of the spotlight. She slipped off her heels, set them gently to the side, looked up at the conductor, and nodded. The first notes of La Comparsita hit the room like a slap. Daniel grinned for exactly 4 seconds, because then Sofia Vasquez began to dance. Alone, with no partner, no rehearsal, no warning. She turned the most demanding Argentine tango ever written into something nobody in that ballroom had ever seen before. Half tango, half ballet, half something she had invented at 5 in the morning on a marble floor when no one was watching. Her bare feet whispered across the wood. Her arms cut shapes into the air that made grown men forget to breathe. She wasn't dancing for them. She was dancing for her mother. 3 minutes in, the room was not silent. The room was holy, and at the head table, an old silver-haired man in a black velvet jacket slowly rose to his feet, his hand pressed against his chest, his eyes wet. Maestro Alessandro Reyes, the most decorated choreographer alive, the man who had trained 3 Olympic champions, choreographed for the Royal Ballet, and, 25 years ago, begged a young pregnant dancer named Elena Vasquez not to walk away from her gift. He recognized the style instantly, the exact tilt of the shoulders, the way she finished a turn on the inside of her foot. "The signature, Elena," he whispered. When the final note faded, Sophia stood in the center of the floor, head bowed, chest rising and falling. The silence lasted 4 seconds. Then 312 people stood up at once. The maestro walked through the crowd, took her hand, turned to the room with the microphone someone had handed him, his voice shaking. 25 years ago, he said, I lost the greatest student I ever had. Tonight, I have found her daughter, Sofia Vasquez. I am offering you a full scholarship to my academy in Madrid, a tour contract with my company, and the funding to open your dance school in your neighborhood. Within 60 days, Sophia's knees buckled. He caught her. At table 1, Daniel Hartwell sat frozen, his champagne glass shattered on the floor. His phone was already lighting up. The live stream had hit 2 million views. The board chairman was calling. By morning, he would no longer be CEO. Sophia walked out of the ballroom an hour later, alone, into the cold November night, a single red rose in her hand from the maestro, her heels in the other. A quiet voice spoke behind her. Miss Vasquez, she turned. A young man in a simple black suit, kind eyes. He looked nothing like his brother. I'm Adrian Hartwell, he said softly. He held out a small white card. I've watched you dance every morning for 6 months. I never said a word because I didn't want to scare you. But when you're ready to open the school, I'd like to help. Not as a Hartwell, as someone who saw you first. Sophia looked at the card, then at him. She didn't take it. Not yet, but she smiled, and she whispered, Ask me again on Monday. You see, life has a way of putting the proudest people in the smallest rooms and the humblest people on the biggest stages. Daniel Hartwell spent his entire life believing that the marble floor was his and that the girl cleaning it was beneath him. He never once stopped to ask himself why she danced every morning at 5 a.m. in an empty lobby. He never asked what she was working for. He never asked what she had lost. He saw a uniform and he stopped looking. But Sophia kept her promise, to a mother she barely remembered, to a dream that everyone told her was too big for a girl like her. She kept dancing in empty lobbies, in borrowed shoes, in the dark, when no one was clapping, when no one was watching, when there was no reward except the dance itself. And the universe was watching the whole time. The universe is always watching. So remember this. The person you treat as invisible today may be holding your entire future in their hands tomorrow. The cleaning lady, the waiter, the cashier, the quiet kid in the back of the room. Every single one of them is carrying a story you cannot see, a gift you have not noticed, a dream you would never believe. Kindness costs you nothing. Cruelty costs you everything. And to anyone watching this right now who is working 2 jobs, saving every penny, dancing alone at 5 in the morning for a dream that feels impossibly far away, I need you to hear me. Do not stop. Do not let one Daniel Hartwell, one bad day, one cruel word convince you that you are too small for what you are reaching for. The world is not ignoring you. The world is getting ready for you. Your moment is coming. And when it comes, you better be dancing. Now, If this story moved you even a little, do 3 things for me right now. 1. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell, because we post stories like this every single day, and the next one might be the one that changes your life. 2. Smash that like button. It costs you nothing, but it tells YouTube to share this story with more people who need to hear it tonight. And 3. In the comments below, tell me, have you ever been underestimated? Have you ever been the person at table 42? I read every comment, every single one. And type the word dance one more time, so I know you stayed until the very end. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in karma, in second chances, in quiet people with loud souls. I'll see you in the next story. Keep dancing.